Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Charmed Hard with a Vengeance. Tonight we watch the season finale, Season 1, Episode 22, The Source Awakens.
Was it just Season 1? I thought this was Season 7.
Phelan. Oh, no!
Yeah.
Oh, no!
A lot of bad.
Oh, no! How? What in the world?
I feel like there's a few ideas in here that aren't crap, but there's just so much.
Holy hell! They were really blasting through 8 seasons in one, huh? This was just the series finale of normal Charmed, wasn't it?
I feel like they blew an entire season on this one episode. It really felt like this was a singular season condensed, like the main plot line just in one episode, because like it would have made so much more sense for the last episode, the one before this, to have been the final episode of the season, and you're setting up, the dilemma of Season 2. But holy crap, this is just like, here's all of Season 2 in one episode, basically.
We had to wait until the end of Season 8 for this kind of time travel mess, huh? But they're like, Season 1, we're gonna blow through this.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We
right
know
away.
We're gonna be pretty short-lived, huh? Maybe that's why they moved it to the Friday night death slot for Season 2. They're like, this ain't gonna last much longer.
Jeez. It's so rare, too. Like, I feel like most shows' problem is moving too slow and not knowing what they're doing. I mean, Charmed doesn't really know what it's doing either, but, like, it just moves so fast. It's such a rare thing, I feel, to see a show move way too fast like this.
Yeah, like, this is, like, past the point where they knew that they had more episodes than the 13 they originally had. It should not be this quick anymore. It's just throwing in so much stuff. You don't have time to appreciate anything that you might have liked.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that would be an interesting show if they'd made it. Yeah. Unfortunately, we just got the highlight version.
Yeah, I really do not understand doing the entire Source Macy as one episode. That's an entire season there.
That was less time than they spent on Phoebe being the queen of the underworld.
Yeah, which was another thing that was too rushed on OG Charmed.
At least this one made a little more sense in the fact that she had good intentions and tried to have it both ways, but it really wasn't working out, versus Phoebe, who I don't even know what the fuck Phoebe was doing.
Phoebe went evil and then blamed it on everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much. So a quick summary of this episode. Macy is the source of all evil, and she has raised Galvin from the dead, but now Death is trying to come back, and so she keeps trying to correct things and creating all these different alternate realities, but in the end, fate just keeps coming back, and sisters have to do it for themselves, if you will.
Death becomes him.
Death becomes him. Galvin dead, for real.
Yeah, what a pile
really
of crap.
A bummer. That's really a bummer.
Pile of garbage show.
He didn't even really get a good conclusion in this episode.
No.
He had one scene. His last scene was when he was like,
with Mel.
Yeah, he's like, this is weird. I feel kind of displaced. And they're like, let's check into this.
Yeah, he's like, some of my patients died, and I thought I'd died to save everyone from that plague.
Yeah, he should have been part of that final reason that Macy decides to get rid of the source. He should have been like, look, it was my choice to die. Like, you're just hurting other people, and they should have had like a proper goodbye. I think that would have a more emotional impact.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so sorely missing from this episode, just because there's so much jammed into it. Like, you can't bring him back and then just like barely have it be a thing. And it's more discussed after he's dead again. Or like when they're about to do it. They're like, you know what this means? He's going to die again. Oh, yeah. There's no blow up with him and Macy.
Yeah, it just feels like there's no proper time given to that, and no
good
real send-off for this character. Yeah. It would have been better if he had just stayed dead the entire time. Yeah. You know what I'm thinking? I keep bringing up Buffy, but it's because they have a lot of the same sort of tropes, but done better. I'm sure there's other shows that have done stuff like that, but I mean, Buffy was a big influencer of Charmed to begin with, and did the genre very well. They had the episode after Buffy's mom dies, where Dawn wants to bring their mom back, but she comes back wrong. You never see her. You see a shadow at the door before they change their mind, and that's the big impact. So they should have done something like that with Galvin, like finally she has him back, but really she didn't really have him back. If they're going to do something like that, unless you do a really good send-off. Otherwise, why is he there? It's just a waste of that actor's time, to be honest.
Yeah, he had nothing. He's barely does anything in this. It's so sad.
Yeah, especially because he was a regular leaving the show. It just feels like that would be so unrewarding. If that's like, I understand that he's leaving for his own career, it seems like, so it's not like they wrote him out, or maybe they intended it, I don't know. But either way, I don't think that was the unrewarding part. But the fact that, like, you spent a whole year doing a series, and then they're like, I don't know, you get a couple scenes.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, whoa, this is wild.
This is one thing this show has been able to do, is turn us around on this Galvin Macy thing. So it's like, at least give him a decent send-off. And yeah, like the previous episode is a better send-off for him. Unless you were going to do, like, unless you had him for another season and, it ends the second season with him leaving.
Galvin's twin brother, Malvin's there.
Yeah.
And he's in the second season. It's like City Slickers 2, Search for Curly's Gold. He didn't know he had a twin brother.
I mean, like, you could have explored that in an entire season, as long as they could have the actor for one more season. I don't know if that was not possible or whatever, but
that would be an interesting season where they just explore all these different realities, but not the second season of a show. I think you'd need to be very familiar.
No, I was just saying Galvin being there and not feeling like he belongs in the world anymore.
Oh, like the whole season is like everything's out of place. And
yeah, he's like seeing dead people.
I see dead people.
Or, stuff weird like that. Like, he just feels wrong. But it's like Macy's still trying to make things feel normal within this world. And, Mel and Maggie are getting increasingly worried about, how the source is affecting her and what she's doing. And you build to that through the second season.
You don't get to see any of the emotional impact on Galvin. This seems like an oh, by the way to his story, because he talks about going to see the people who were infected that he saved. They're all suddenly dying because of him being brought back, and that should mean something. He says a line about it, but very ho-hum. Kind of like, oh, I remember dying to save them. It's kind of like someone got his order wrong at the at the restaurant, and I don't think it has to do with the actor. I think it's just like he's not given anything to work with there.
I think it's probably like you're supposed to feel disconnected slightly because you don't feel like you're supposed to be alive, yet you're upset about this. Was probably something around the direction. So it's like, it's a weird mix, I guess.
It should be like he's a weird zombie or something, almost like he doesn't feel connected to the world, and he just like walks in front of a bus or something, and then like she keeps trying to save him, but he's not meant to be in the world anymore.
Right.
So after all of this happens, Mel and Maggie are in the kitchen, and they're like very loudly discussing how they're like, hey, this is pretty bad, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe Macy shouldn't be the source of all evil. And, like, of course, Macy's listening around the corner.
I can't stand this trope in things where just characters loudly discuss another person, like, when they are easily able to walk within earshot of it. Like, it's such a silly thing. Yeah, Macy will never hear this. She's just upstairs in the same house.
I like how, like, they're so self-righteous about this, too, where they're like, you can't bring him back from the dead. Like, you're messing with you think you're like a god or something. And then like Macy rightfully throws back. It's like, so what about you wiping Nico's memory? Like, you didn't have any right doing that to her.
Yeah, she had no choice in that.
Yeah. Took away her, and like there's not really a good comeuppance for that.
No.
They had Nico at the end like wave at her and she disappears behind a bus or something. I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be her trying to be like it's over or what. It wasn't much of anything.
Mel died 30 years ago.
I thought it was kind of funny too. They brought up, of course, the parallel that Macy herself was brought back from the dead. I don't feel like they have a very good answer for why it's okay there and not this time.
Yeah, maybe she should have got the necromancer to bring him back, and then it would have been fine.
Yeah.
The necromancer, of course, making a cameo in this as well. Everyone and their mom did, of course, and their mom.
Yeah, everyone
literally.
and their mom.
I was joking, but yeah, and their mom. After they bring this up too, it's hilarious, like their lack of priorities, where they're like, Macy's making the lights flicker, and like clearly something's very wrong, and she did just bring her boyfriend back from the dead, and they're like, well, I got Pilates, I got work, bye.
Classic charmed ones.
And then, like, Macy has a line later when she's talking to Harry, like, I know they were making excuses to leave. What? Who tipped you off? Them being really bad at this? They're so dumb. And, Maggie goes to talk to Parker after this, and he's leaving town. He seems a lot more chill than the last time we saw him. Like, I have to leave, I can't be here. And he's like, hey, sup?
Yeah, I thought he was gone like then. Like, you're not going to see him around after that teleport, not just, oh yeah, I'm casually packing up, sup?
He's like, oh, you know how when your dad's this high ranking demon and then he dies and you inherit all his stuff? Yeah. Anyway, I got a bunch of ball gags from him. We learned Alistair loved ball gags. So
Didn't
it's a little bit of,
like, you inherit all his torture equipment or something?
yeah, it's like toys or something like that. Why did he keep it though? Just because you inherit it, put that in like an estate sale. You don't have to keep it.
Yeah.
Is that really going to help him keep his demon side in check if he keeps his dad's torture devices?
He's just going to have a yard sale, I guess, once he moves. Bunch of ball gags in the yard.
That demon ball gag I found at a yard sale. He's there to help Maggie with some plot-related stuff. She's like, hey, so what did your dad tell you about the source? This could clue us into what's going on with Macy. And he says that the source feeds on insecurity, so they need to figure out what Macy would really want to fix, which doesn't really change anything about how they find out anything in the episode. It's really just an unnecessary scene, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They do find out about that the page from the Book of Shadows that Lucy stole is important, and I forget why. It has to do with some sort of spell,
right? Yeah,
because their mom is reading from it. But I could not write fast enough to write all of these plot points down. It was just so much.
It's like the time restoral spell or something, I think. Maybe.
If it was that spell though. It's how they go back to the point where they broke, where the Power of Three broke. That's how. Right. That's why they.
And that was the spell she used.
But why did Lucy steal it in the first place?
In case Alistair thought they might try to cheat. I don't know.
They're a bunch of cheaters. No integrity anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of Alistair, though, like I always find it funny that these things like she's messing with the nature of things just by bringing someone back with the source powers, but it's okay to burn someone from the inside out, right?
Yeah, I noticed they don't reverse any of that.
So it's like, why is death okay, but bringing someone back is not? That's messing with the laws of nature and whatever. Like,
yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It's so inconsistent, but I guess that's like that with a lot of things, just whatever's plot convenient.
Yeah. So I always Just find that funny. That's the bad one. Bringing someone back. Burning them. That's cool.
Harry seems to be the only one trying to do something at this point when the Blunder twins are like, I got Pilates, I got work. And they leave. And he comes in and Macy's sitting on the bed. He's like, hey, how's it going, Macy?
You want a soda?
Feeling pretty good, champ. And he's all like, he finds out that she can read minds and still lies to her, even though he knows that she can read minds. She tells him.
That. Yeah, she goes, I can read your mind, like he's trying to make it sound better than it is. Like, oh, your sisters love you, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I can read minds. Like, oops. And then...
your sisters don't love you.
Yeah. Then he gets a text from, Mel or Maggie or something like, OMG, get here right away. And she's like, what is it? He's like, oh, it's just work.
It's nothing. And then he leaves, and of course she immediately follows.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're all scared of me. And they're all like, no.
What? No.
Like, so bad at this. So in order to try and fix this, she's like, you're all scared of me. I want to do something that'll make you feel secure. So I'm going to go back in time and save Mom. And so she goes back in time, but of course there's the curse that they can never see each other after the first 2 years of her life or something or other, or her mom will die, so her mom dies. And then this is when we start getting into the, like, OG Charmed doesn't understand time travel or shows continuity stuff.
Yeah, this was so strange. I was just so confused. I'm like, is there going to be any explanation for why this is wrong? And it never comes.
It never comes. No, it's wrong because Maggie and Mel show up. This is during the past before the show begins because their mom's still alive. And their mom dies because of the curse. And they see this strange woman they've never met with their mom who's dying. And then they start casting spells and talking about demons, and they know what the source of all evil is.
Yep.
Which they wouldn't, because their powers were restored when their mom died. She was doing that.
Yeah.
She was awakening their powers or whatever.
Yeah, she's making them the charmed ones and unbinding their powers, right?
Yeah, so they wouldn't have any powers. They wouldn't know about any of this stuff, and there's no explanation. It's not. I thought maybe, I'm like, okay, maybe she changed something else that made it. This was some alternate reality where they knew this stuff or something, but she didn't change anything before that, so it wouldn't make any sense.
No, they never say anything like that. I'm like, is that going to be the twist why this is happening? But no, they don't say that.
No, or like she time traveled, but you can't really undo time, so she created another timeline or went to another version of reality or something like that.
I thought maybe she, at first, like when they started doing magic, it's like, okay, so she can't get her mom from like her dimension, so she opted into another one.
Yeah, like a Rick and Morty kind of thing.
Right.
So it's gonna be, they replace the charmed ones in that dimension, bury them in the backyard.
Yeah.
While sad music plays. Ah.
I thought maybe something like that, but no, it's just apparently time travel. That just made no sense.
No, this is... How are you into season 1? And you're forgetting your own continuity. Even original Charm did not go this quickly into this territory. This is such a disaster. It's not even like bad time travel logic. It's just show continuity. It's the pilot. It's not even a small continuity. This is the premise of the show that they're forgetting.
Yeah.
It's like someone found the draft for the season 8, the series finale, and they just rewrote some names and some ideas here. And like, what? What in the world? Oh yeah, Wyatt and I were fighting some demons, and then our powers were gone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Powers went out, and I was like, oh, I gotta go check the power.
So after that, Mel says, in the past Mel is like, you're not our sister. And Macy's like, you've always been the problem. I'm gonna get rid of you. So she finds the necromancer in the past, and Harry's there for some reason, but that didn't really amount to anything.
Yeah, he's just there to make them teleport out of the store, apparently. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I guess it's like, remember when we met so-and-so before we met so-and-so?
I guess it's just supposed to be like, fate keeps bringing him to her or something as she's trying to mess with stuff.
That's true. So she's, before she writes Mel out, she's trying to just figure out a way to keep her mom alive with her there. And the necromancer's like, well, you gotta find a new sacrifice then. But unless you're some kind of god, I guess you can't do that. And she's like, boom, bitch, I am a god.
Someone's asked if you're a god, you say yes!
Are you a god?
No.
Then
Macy's seen shit that'll turn you white. So the new sacrifice is Mel. She makes it so that Mel is not part of the family anymore, so it's just Macy and Maggie and their mom. There's no charmed ones because they were never brought together as the charmed ones in this universe, but most importantly, Maggie is the new Lucy. An Instagram influencer, which is perhaps the worst fate of all.
Yeah, she's kind of like Phoebe. She's like,
hey bitches, here's a new Ask Maggie.
Yeah.
We're gonna learn how to make skinny margs.
she has seen like a billboard with her face. Ask Maggie.
Whatever happened to influencers supporting influencers?
Everyone's gonna enjoy Fire Festival. Maggie, no!
Maggie! You've made a horrible mistake. FOMO.
I liked in this universe, Mel was a Uber driver.
Fate worse than death.
Yeah, and had to, I guess just fate made Harry take an Uber, because it's like, he can teleport, he doesn't need an Uber. Why is he doing this?
I didn't even think about that. We're watching it, and you're like, why is Harry taking an Uber? Wait a minute. Yeah, why? That doesn't make any sense. Mel is back to her pre-early season days when she is just like, women's studies, men heading that department.
White cis male in women's studies, not on my watch.
This was where it was already ridiculous, but this is when it started getting utterly just almost unfollowable. This is just like within the span of a minute. All of this happens. Okay, he gets in the car, and then, like, they don't know each other. And then they're like, wait, hey, maybe we met before. And then their noses start bleeding. And then Harry's like, oh, clearly we're affected by some memory thing or something. And then like, huh, what? You're a witch. I'm a white lighter. We should go do this thing for this memory thing. Teleport out and then go get this memory juice and then unlock this vault and then take the memory juice. And we know everything. And we gotta go. All this happens immediately.
Yeah, it's so quick. It is crazy how fast they move on some parts of this.
You wouldn't even have any time to enjoy an alternate reality, because there can be fun. You can have a good time with like an alternate reality, alternate timeline story, especially with characters that you're familiar with. But you don't have time to absorb any of this stuff. You just get like 2 seconds of stuff, and they're like, "Wait, we got to do this." And then they go find Maggie, and then they're like, "Oh, she's an influencer. Here, drink this memory juice." And then she does, and then she's fine. And you brought this up. If there was this memory juice the whole time, why didn't Harry bring this up about Nico? She was dying in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was relevant.
Yeah, and it's like, alright, well, I guess we know it's probably eventually going to happen to Nico now.
Well, she was fine by the end, so they must have used it on her, right?
I don't know.
Because unless they wiped her mind again, but, like, I mean, they solved the Harbinger infection, but she was dying because of the memories coming back before, so they must have used it on her.
Yeah, I guess that maybe was slightly supposed to be hinted by that wave thing.
Yeah, unless she was wearing the ring again, so I don't know if that had to do with anything.
I don't know. This show just blew through too many things too quick. Like, all this should have been saved for another season. Holy crap.
So they all get together and they're like, hey, Macy did all this shit. We need to fix this. And Macy's like, everything's going to be perfect. You're not going to tell me what to do. Like, I deserve to have a mom. And she teleports back home. She breaks wind. She breaks wind when she gets back, and her mom blown out the window again.
Yeah, why does Macy's, like, source teleport have a wind effect which blows things around? It's only so that she knocks her mom out the window with her source fart.
She didn't take the gust into account.
It's so silly. I love to, like, right after that, then Harry teleports in, and, like, no wind happens when he does this.
He doesn't have enough magic gas to really, like, blast it out there.
Yeah, you're so
his
powerful.
His is more of a silent but deadly, if you will.
Yeah, as Harry teleports in, it's like we see their mom down there splatted on the front of the house, like, I think I'm gonna
I do love that's just what she just teleports in and blasts her out, cut to her mom dead on the ground. What do you think her mom was thinking? Like,
Yeah.
What? This is how I die. What the fuck?
I just love picking at the window.
I should probably learn these actresses' names at some point. What is the name of the actress who plays Macy? Madeline Mantock. Okay. I enjoyed Madeline Mantock's performance. I think that she did a great job. It was super rushed, but she had a lot of material to work with here, and she had to go through, like, so many levels of things all through these 2 episodes, really.
Yeah, that was the strongest thing probably in the episode. The fact she pulls off, the evil while trying to still be nice thing.
Yeah, like, she's out of control, but really she just desperately wants to make things better, but also she realizes some things about herself too. Like, she just wanted her mom back. Eventually it was not about being kind to her sisters, it was about doing things for herself. And so she comes to the conclusion that she is the problem, so she's going to write herself out of the timeline. And so she writes herself out, and then they go into, like, a post-apocalyptic world?
Yeah, this is so strange because we never get any kind of explanation about what's going on in this world. They just live in a version of their house which is all messed up, ratty clothes, and the windows all boarded up.
Yeah, you just have to come to your own conclusions here. It has to be something that Macy helped them stop, I guess, because they were the charmed ones. So, yeah, maybe it's supposed to be Alistair and Parker as the source. Parker destroyed the world.
Yeah, I feel like just a line from their mom about what's going on in this world would have been nice.
Yeah, because they still have their memories restored from before, so they don't know what's going on in this world other than everyone wears all black. Maggie's got a Tomb Raider braid going on. They tell their mom about all of this stuff in the real world, much like the series finale of the original Charmed. And again, it's just, like, blown past, like, what her feelings would really be. She has nothing to say about being dead. Like, when they eventually are going to restore things and they get that page of the book, she says, like, look, I know I'm going to die, but that was my fate. Yeah. Which is nice. They paid some lip service, but there is still so very little considering how much is thrown at her in this universe.
Their mom was pretty much a prop in this scene. She was not a real character. She's just kind of observing most of it. It's really weird. It's just like there's a bunch of betweens, like Mel and Maggie, as their moms just kind of standing there. Guess I shouldn't exist.
Which, again, was very much like the series finale of the original Charmed, right? Like, they had their mom and their grandma dragged around, like, oh, I know I'm dead, it's fine, whatever, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Who brought my wife back from the dead? So they get the restoration spell from that page of the book that was originally stolen by Lucy, and they go back to the moment that the power of 3 broke, which was just before Macy goes to save Galvin. But after that, she has killed Alistair, so apparently power 3 is still alive and well after she has burned someone alive.
Yeah, that's okay. No need to try and rebalance nature on that one, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. He's a demon, it doesn't count. At some point, they realize that the necklace, the yin-yang necklace, they realize that it's, they can use it to remove the power of the source. So they're trying to convince Macy to do that, but she keeps trying to push them away before they leave her. A lot of this is about her emotional arc, feeling unwanted and abandoned.
Yeah, her abandonment issues. I felt like some of this is warranted, but I did not feel like this was a arc really through the season with her.
The fact that she's carrying a lot of it while they're doing their own shit, that makes me think that they're not really like bonded that much as sisters. But yeah, there were a lot of scenes where they would like connect about stuff, like her and Maggie talking about both of them having the same father and their experiences presenting as the race they present as, and they had a little bit with Mel in the last episode, didn't they?
They had her connect with Mel too. Like they didn't really have this storyline of her trying to push them away. Like she moved in with them, which is the opposite of that.
Yeah, like if they were starting to fracture before she took on the Source, like their relationships, because of all of this stuff going on, was fracturing them, and not just the like you shouldn't use your evil sight or whatever, but like real stuff, not just the whole like you're genetically evil or whatever. If they were starting to fracture there, it'd be like, okay, this is how it always goes. You think someone's close, but they fall apart once they get bored or once you're not important to them or whatever, and then they have to prove that no, she really is important to them.
Yeah, I felt they like upped her issues with that way more than they have been before.
Yeah, they definitely didn't pay as much time to that particular story arc as they should have, if this is what the culmination was.
Yeah, exactly. Did not quite connect.
Yeah, they were acting like they were being driven apart because of like the evil sight a little bit, but it was like a concern. It was never like, it just didn't feel like any sort of fracturing. So she teleports them out to New York, and then they just immediately teleport back.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that? Harry can teleport. This doesn't, why?
They act like, oh, what are we going to do? She teleported us. I'll just teleport us back. Oh.
Huh? Like, I would have thought they would be like, oh, she put some sort of spell on so I can't teleport back, or we have to do this spell so that you can strengthen the teleport or something, to be like, okay, here is why it's not that easy, but we can do it.
Yeah, like we've already done an episode where Harry and Mel were stuck in England and he couldn't teleport back because his powers were out of whack, so Macy couldn't stop them from just teleporting back.
Yeah, especially because she's got her brand new source powers.
Exactly.
It just doesn't add up. And she's going crazy in the attic when they get back, just talking to herself and pacing and murmuring about things. And they teleport back, and then she starts breaking wind at them. Trying to blow them away in a tornado of plot.
And she starts to regenerate.
But they're gonna kill her with kindness, and perhaps a fate worse than anything in the rest of the episode. Yeah. They say, you're stuck with us forever. We will never leave you.
And then they charmed bear stare her.
It was basically like, what is it, Good Will Hunting? It's not your fault. No, shut up. It's not your fault. Shut up.
We're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, for real?
I didn't realize you really meant it.
You mean we could have been friends all along?
I don't know. Perhaps we should be enemies.
They tell the Yellow Crayon story and bring her back from the brink. And so they remove her power and leave Galvin dead. So they have to come to the acceptance that Galvin dead. It is Wild no more. He did not want to know.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He was the new Andy all along. Who knew? And they take the source into the necklace, and it breaks into 3 pieces. By the way, before we get into that, I just want to talk about the spell that they're doing. It was basically like the craft spell, like I from the powers of the corners of the earth or whatever. But they were like, I, the sister of emotion.
Well, it's like
what?
Mel and Macy. We're the sister of space and time, and then emotion.
I'm the emotion, the sister of emotion.
Hurt.
Heart, yeah, basically.
It's like, ugh, get out of here.
Hey, the sister of love advice.
I guess Mati would fit in there. He's another M name. Hey, sisters, hurt.
Mati Vera, fourth sister. Can't wait for that in season 2 before they're canceled.
Yeah.
So yeah, the necklace splits in 3, and they're like, we will put it into 3 corners of the world, and then we will have Harry wipe our minds so that we don't know where they are. Except that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, Charity tried to wipe Macy's mind, and it didn't work. So why would this stick?
Yeah, there's no good explanation for why that's gonna work.
It just, and like, I don't know how Harry's wiping works.
Can he get that specific?
Yeah, it seems like he would have to know what the memory is that he's wiping. So does he know where they are? Is he like the one with the recipe to the Coke that they gotta protect? Or
I don't know.
What happens when the next Fiona comes along and reads his mind, you know?
Yeah, that's a problem for later.
But then things turn hilarious. Utterly hilarious. I was dying, Phelan, when they show up at Galvin's grave. They're all dressed like they're going to a wedding.
Yeah.
They're all
It's a nice day for a dead Galvin. Do, 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 do.
Maggie's in like a fucking wedding dress, like a big toga dress.
She looks like she's a doll.
Yeah, she looks like a porcelain doll.
Yeah.
Like, what? And then they cut to Harry in like a 3-piece pinstriped white suit.
Yeah, like, what?
Why?
It's got the kind of shampoo lighting going on too, so it's like the same effect they used for like Elder Universe before. I'm like, is he buried in the Elder Universe?
Oh my god, this is the end of Nightmare on Elm Street. Everything seems cool, and then Freddy's arm comes and grabs them in the car. Pulls them through a door. That's what happened to their mom. She gets pulled through the door.
1, 2, Galvin's coming for you. I'm back. I'm back. That is wild.
You think Galvin's ghost just watching them at the funeral like, yo, that is messed up.
What, Macy, what are you wearing? A 70s dress? Who's that?
Why is Maggie peeing on my grave? Come on. I gotta go to parties. Bye. So like, Maggie's like, I guess I can go and be with Parker now. Be like a boring old couple, a normal one. Like, this changes nothing of his situation.
Yeah, that was...
His situation's exactly where we left it.
That was so weird that she even acted like, yeah, anyway, I guess things are fine with us now. Like, what?
No, everything that you changed was after he decided that this was too much. He had to leave to get his demon side in check. And he basically responds the same way, like, no, I'm gonna go. I don't know why you thought this changed anything.
It's one of those things, too. It's like they could have gone back further in time and stopped more of these things, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. Which is always a problem when you give them free reign time travel.
Yeah. Well, they can't just do it all willy-nilly, because she doesn't have the source power anymore, and that page from the book was for a specific charmed thing, right?
No, it was to send them back, I guess. Whenever...
It was when it fractured, so there was a specific thing to it.
I guess.
It's not like it's go back to when your boyfriend was a demon spell, or when he went crazy or whatever.
It's just like we could have stopped him from becoming a demon, though, and stopped his mom from dying, and then the source wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but then you go back into what Macy did, which was fate just kept coming back. He can't really correct everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can't correct what she did before then.
Do you think they're writing him out of the show, or this is just part of his story?
Who?
Parker.
Ugh, I don't know. I could see either.
You think they're like waiting to see like what people think? They're like, should we bring Parker back?
Yeah, I guess I could see either going with that.
Because Galvin, yeah, I mean, I'm fairly certain he's just gone now, which is a real bummer. But I don't know. They left it a little open with Parker, I think. Mm-hmm. So they go back home, and all of the fairy tale creatures from throughout the season are there.
At least
to come kiss their asses.
Yeah. You know, one thing I'll give them, though, is at least these Charmed ones have some people they saved. Where, like, if this happened in original Charmed and they came back home, it'd just be a bunch of graves.
Well, no. See, in original Charmed, they had all the fairy tale creatures. Like, they were like, you owe us something because we're the Charmed ones. So, like, okay. And then they would go get them killed on missions for them. So it could still happen.
True.
They were basically just like, you guys are the greatest. And you're like, and no one's cooler than you. And, like, I love Ask Maggie. It's so good.
And then Seder Master's there, and he's like, I brought the wine.
Yeah, let's get wasted. And as soon as they ask this, they're like, well, now that the elders are gone, who's going to be in charge? I just went, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Because I knew what was coming.
Yeah, this was the answer to the question I was asking, a little bit ago. And it's like, this is the worst way to answer that, is having the Charmed ones in control.
So you took away Macy being a god and then made them gods?
Yeah.
They have no one to keep them in check? So they are the new ones in charge. New elders? So I don't know. White lighters have to answer to that? It seems weird because it doesn't seem like they have the same sort of powers that the elders did, which would help create white lighters or take their powers away or do any of this stuff. They don't have... You can't just say, like, I'm the king now, and then they're the king. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. Doesn't know. I have no idea. It's like, even when they met their mom in Apocalypse World, like, there was a special elder language that she had to use to decrypt a spell. I think that was the time one. I don't know what the Lucy thing was.
No, that was the one that Lucy stole, but
was
in that
it?
Universe, it was still there.
Okay,
yeah.
Whatever. but yeah, there's stuff like that the Charmed ones wouldn't be able to do, apparently, without an elder. Like the elder language and whatever else they could do.
Like, if anything, they should have put Harry in charge because he's the one with the most experience and knowledge about this stuff. Otherwise, like, I mean, like, they're just, like, idiots. They're all, like, fairly novices. They're very powerful, but they're very novice about all of this stuff. Like, they just don't... Half the shit was just Harry going, like, I know of this thing, let's go. So...
Yeah. Oh, there's one other thing at the funeral, where it's like, they act like Macy barely even knows them. That was really weird. Like, I forget what Macy says, but Maggie starts giggling, and Macy's like, why are you laughing? And then Mel's like, 'cause she's your sister. Like, what is this?
If they weren't living together the whole season and maybe felt a little separate, maybe.
Yeah.
But
it just feeds in this thing where it's like, I don't know, that the Macy of this episode was written like with some different ideas for the character maybe at some point. Or just someone not as familiar with what she's done through the season. Very weird.
All right, Phelan. I think it's time for the fashion segment.
Which a lot of it's going to be what we talked about.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I want to call out the Harry three-piece white pinstripe suit. And then, of course, there's the white outfit that Maggie was wearing. Mel was wearing a velvet dress with translucent patterned sleeves at the beginning. Okay, and so Maggie's got some all-time classics here. There is a furry maroon jacket that she's wearing at some point. In the influencer universe, she's wearing camo pants and a purple half sweater with a boob window. That's a Phoebe outfit if I ever saw one with a boob window.
Yeah.
She had that like half grandma sweater that she wore when she really wanted to make baby. Kind of reminded me of that. So that's what I got for the fashion segment. Phelan, overall, what'd you think of this episode, and what did you think of this season?
It's a mess.
What?
You said this is an entire season crammed into an episode, and there's no time to focus on a whole bunch of things that could have really used it. It's just constantly, I was like, what? This whole apocalypse world might be interesting to see in an episode, but we're just going to blow by it in a small segment and give their mother really nothing to do there. I feel like getting rid of the source from Macy this quick is a mistake, because that's an interesting story to have explored deeper. Galvin being a weird zombie of a person, not feeling like he should be alive, is an interesting story that deserved more time.
They should have made this a 3-parter at least.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like have her become the source, and then the alternate realities, and then the very last episode, which is basically just like you can't fight fate.
Yeah.
At least.
At least, yeah, that would have been a little better. But I still feel like there's a season worth of having her be the source there, and you just threw it away.
I understand that for a show that's about 3 sisters and the power of 3, you wouldn't want to keep them apart that long.
Well, I don't...
So,
she doesn't have to be completely apart, though.
That's true, it could be a slow descent, but
Yeah.
that's sort of a repeat of the arc of this season, isn't it? With the dark demon side.
Well, it doesn't have to be exactly like that. Like, just have her, like, say she's in control of them, and sometimes she is, sometimes she's not. You can tell it's building to something.
True. This episode was just a mess. Just a complete mess, like you said. It was just too much crammed all in one. It was hilariously bad, and it really, really, really reminded me of the series finale of the original show, which is not a good comparison because that is a disaster of an episode. If you're going to do time travel, you got to remember at least the very basic logic of it. I know time travel's not real, but there's some rules. You can't just forget the premise of your own show by having them like know things that they shouldn't know, or people remember things from timelines that don't exist. It's just very basic things that you need to keep track of. Never mind the whole like paradox element of time travel in itself. Just, you know, just the basics of things that people shouldn't know or do. And I don't think they had that there.
We should have seen like maybe Mel pouring some of that time juice in Nico, so we knew she was cured, and then maybe like she wakes up and then Mel waves and she's gone or something.
Yeah.
Like
something like that.
Yeah, instead of just the weird across the street bus thing where Mel's just a slasher killer.
Yeah, I don't know if your hero you want to show them doing that. I feel like this season overall has just been so uneven and rushed, and it really feels like they have crammed just 10 different seasons into this one thing. So even stuff that I liked did not have enough time to really enjoy, and the stuff that I didn't like, they blustered through, but I still didn't like it. So I can't say that this is good television. Like, enjoyably bad at times, yes. So if people, like, enjoy making fun of shows, I would recommend this to make fun of. But as far as, like, a good genre show, I can't say that.
No, it's way too uneven.
Would you say, at least when Charmed was good back then, as good as it could be, that this is better or worse than the original Charmed?
I don't know. I'm kind of left with the impression of how Charmed ended. It's kind of...
Well, think about the first 3 seasons
I know, it's what
when
I'm
Shannon
trying
Doherty
to
was
think
still around.
That's what I'm trying to think of, but it's kind of hard to separate it now. It's been a while since I've seen that, too.
Even just season 1, if you just compare it to season 1 of original Charmed.
Mm-hmm. I mean... It's probably sort of comparable, but I mean, this one has different issues than, that did. Because
that's true.
Like, I mean, season 1 of Charmed had more promise than what the show turned into, but it still wasn't perfect.
Sure. I know which one I would rather rewatch, and that's the original one, to be honest. I think the original one's better so far. Like, overall, I was more mad at it near the end, but even when you look at, like, the first season of it, it was fun. There was a lot of, like, silly filler stuff and, like, tropes from that time, sure, but, like, it didn't feel rushed or chaotic. It felt like a show, and this doesn't really feel like a show yet.
That's true. It probably was a bit more solid in its premise and stuff, and then this show just doesn't seem to know what it's doing half the time.
Well, the original Charmed in season 1, they didn't have anything in mind yet, so you would, like, find out things later about, like, elders and white lighters and all this stuff. It was a lot slower with that stuff because they were writing it in as they went, really. So, I mean, there were inconsistencies for sure, and there was, like, dumb stuff happening.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, I think a lot of inconsistencies happened later in the show, though, because they kept forgetting what they set up before.
Oh, yeah, then there were things they just forgot, including their own premise. I remember them doing the same thing when they had, like, Grandma Ghost was talking to Piper when they were all, like, they had, like, the mentality of kids for that episode for some reason, and she's like, you remember when you were kids and we had the witch talk? Like, well, they wouldn't, because you died when you were unbinding their powers. They wouldn't know about witches then.
Idiots.
So it's the same sort of thing, like, and that's the kind of continuity errors, like, that are unforgivable to me. Like, there are certain things I'm like, it's hard to keep track of a lot of stuff. I could understand forgetting something, but, like, if it's the premise of your show, like, what are you doing? How bad are you doing? And I can't believe that both iterations of Charmed did this.
Yeah.
More things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, and they really took a cue from original Charmed with, hey, they never do a good time travel story, so let's do that.
They were always the worst at time travel.
Yeah.
The worst.
So
We've seen some bad
incompetent.
time travel, but that is the worst.
It always comes back to just Chris and Wyatt strolling into the house like, we were just playing PlayStation using our powers to cheat, and then we couldn't anymore, and we're like, whoa, what's up with our powers? Like, guys, that makes no sense. Time is not running on the same track for them in the future where it just goes, oh, your powers are out because time changed.
I think the best time travel episode that original Charm did was when they went to the Old West. Where it was Prue and Cole, and then, like, they had to go, like, shoot people, and nothing happened, like, from killing someone in the Old West. You get them in, like, Prue in sexy cowgirl outfit, and
Yeah.
Cole with a 6-shooter. When will those two ever get along?
That episode did not believe in the butterfly effect.
No. And, like, if you're gonna do something like that and you just don't give a fuck about the ramifications, whatever. But, like, if you're messing with their own personal timelines, you need to remember basic stuff about their normal timelines.
Yeah.
All right, do you have any other things to say about Charmed? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
That was wild. I miss you, Galvin, and I think season 2 is still going to be a mess.
Yeah, honestly, if I have to make a prediction, and I don't want this to be the case, honestly, I want the show to get better and be good. I don't want to root for it to fail.
No.
But I really feel like after season 2, it's donezo. I feel like it's in its death throes right now.
Yeah, I think they just made too big of a mess of season 1 for it to really recover.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Because there are a few good elements in this mess. But I don't know if they're going to be allowed to flourish next season enough to the degree people will watch it enough for them to renew it past season 2.
All right. Well, this was quite a journey that we've been on. Now the season of Charmed Hard comes to a close. I don't know if people would be interested in perhaps doing some specials. Charmed Hard Rewind, perhaps, of some original Charmed episodes. It might be kind of fun to revisit that.
No. Yeah.
I'm not talking about, like, watching from the beginning, but, like...
No, I think it'd be interesting to go and talk about some original Charmed.
Yeah, delve deep into some of the original stupidity. So, Yeah, I think we'll do this as some Patreon stuff. We'll see what the interest is as far as like how frequently we might do it. But yeah, I'll do some polls on Patreon, see if anyone wants to vote for what we're gonna take a look at. Some random Charmed episodes. But other than that, the season's done. Stick a fork in it, it's done. So, thank you all for listening to Charmed Hard with a Vengeance this season. If you liked it, I'd appreciate it if you gave us a thumbs up, or a comment, or subscribed, or tweeted about it. Hashtag Charmed Hard with a Vengeance. Hashtag Dunzola.
Dunzola.
What other hashtags?
Hashtag hairy suit.
Hashtag Death Becomes Them.
Death becomes Galvin.
Death becomes Galvin. Yeah. We'll see you guys around in the near future. Charmanders out.